Hello, everybody. We're getting ready to get started here tonight in the kitchen. Anybody got a camera? Can you really take a close shot on the camera to put on there if you can? Just have a little patience. We decided to start a little bit different tonight. We're going to start, so we're going to get the stew going because it takes about 20 minutes to cook. Not even that, but we'll put it on slow heat while we're going to go from there. We've been talking a lot about line, eating right, what it look like, tell you, well, you shouldn't eat this or you shouldn't eat that. And so we're just going to actually get in the kitchen, get down to it, and we're going to chop up a few things and prepare it and get it ready and to get it going here tonight. So, we just want to say thanks for showing up. Welcome you 1,000 times here tonight. We'll give Sister Helen a little bit of time to get her phone queued up, and then we're going to just get started. We're going to have a closer phone so you guys can see what we're doing in the pots and all this other kind of stuff. And watching me online, I'm doing here. Tonight we're going to be using okra, green pepper, tomatillos, asparagus, zucchini, yellow squash, and mushrooms. You got mushrooms? Well, maybe mushroom. And we're going to use kale to make the stew. Our second thing that we're going to make tonight is quinoa. And I'm going to show you how versatile these two things is. We talk about protein, and protein. One of the best proteins in the world is going to be coming off this field about it. I believe all vegetables have some form of protein. And I don't think we need really as much proteins from meat as we think. We just need the right protein from the plants, because all those proteins and things that our muscles and things would need here. So I'm going to get started here to cut up some stuff right now. They call this at Lebanon Church a Willie stew. I guess because I made it up, they named it after. So we're going to leave it like that and just get up. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut up my okra here tonight. I'm going to dice it into little pieces here. Little round pieces like so, Ain't got to be perfect. One of the things I like about the okra when it's in the stew, it does not prevent itself as the slime as it do. When you cook it, it's a pretty mild thing, but it's great for health while you're doing your digestive tract. It's real good for it. It's one of the best in there, helping you to expel waste here. So I love okra.
So just one pack. And then bring a couple of bell jars from the cabinet. They don't have any jars here for
One of the things we're also going to be doing tonight, we're going to show you guys how to dispense the cleaning agent, what we're going to be using. Clean your kidneys, your livers, your stomach, your heart, all these different things. I brought it here tonight. I brought some for the taste, and I'm going to draw some up, put some water on it, and then we're going to let you guys have a taste of that. As I was getting some great insight about what he wanted me to talk to you guys about, very interesting here. Then we're going to go into the Bible, and we're going to do our presentation in the Bible while this blessed stew is being cooked here. Whenever it's left, you guys will be able to take it home, be blessed with it. And you can start cleansing and get cleaning and stuff. For those who have been faithful, because I am getting quite a bit of demand for it, it's going to have to be one of those things that you're going to have to purchase it. Apparently a lot of people want to get clean. That's okay with me.
That's on me. I can't cover everything.
So again, what I'm doing now, I'm chopping up the okra. I cut both ends off, the small, the big head of it. You toss that to the side. Just a regular video would be great. So everybody can get a close up of what we're doing. I'm making a pretty big site, so I'm using quite a bit of okra here. I'm just going to use them all off. Use them all the way up tonight. In this stew, I absolutely positively love them. I also like to take them and use some spelt. I'll show you how to take them and make fried okra in a whole different way. For those of you like fried okra, I really love it in the spelt. One of the things we talked about upstairs when we were talking about all this flavor stuff is about changing the flour. And I made that transition good about it. Okay? Now we got our okra. You want to give me a close up to it? Here. It's chopped up in little squares. My next victim is I'm going to cut my tomatillos out. I'm just going to cut them into squares and then chop them into half. Give stew a really good flavor. Pick this up on my Spanish brothers and sisters. Tomatillos, ladies and gentlemen. And all I'm doing is just cutting them in half, cut them in squares, and then we'll drop them in here. You can make that adjustment however you want to with the tomatillos. If you're doing a small batch, 1 to 2, half is good enough. Okay. Next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna cut out the zucchinis. I'm gonna take it over here and wash them off. Now these zucchinis I grew in my garden. I'm proud of myself. One of the things about getting healthy is you learn to, if you're growing your own food, you absolutely positively have control. So we're gonna cut up little zucchinis to put in here. Now everything we're using in this stew is alkaline. David's nutritious guide for those who follow, something that he recommends. So I just decided to come up with a stew, something close to what we used to eat in the States. Now, some of the food that's on these guides, you may not be able to have a palate for at first. And so you kind of need a crossover. So I started working on these things. I did was I put in mind of what we used to eat. So we started, and then we started working our way out going forward here. There's no particular way to cut your squash up. If you like them big, you can cut them in big squares. I like to dice mine a little bit, cut them into smaller. It makes it easier to cook, and I just like it like that. Since we don't eat the potato anymore, or we don't supposed to be eating potatoes anymore, it gives you that potato a feel for it. This is one stew. Also, when I have it, I don't have any tonight. I like to use the burdock root. It's a great source of iron. In the wintertime, I especially love it with the burdock root because it gives you that wholeness and that wonderful feel here. All right, we got a little zucchini cut up here. My next thing of business is my yellow squash. And we're going to put all this beautiful vegetables in a pot here. Our yellows are greens and, all these nice weather. And they're going to give you a nice, beautiful taste. And also it's going to do so much for your body. Now, one thing about it is when we're going through the master cleanse, one of the main to focus on outside of your major organs is also your digestion tract. Making sure that it's clean, making sure that everything is on point, above par here. This stew, the way we're making it tonight, help address that. And it's very easy on your digestion tract because of the okra, because of the tomatillo, the asparagus that we're going to be making here. And it allows you to eat while you're cleansing, and it makes you better because it helps remove the waste from your body because of the, but it's there present in your intestine, helping your brain to expel some of the waste in there. Now, when we see the crud, which is our name of our master cleanse, but what it does is that it begins to clean. One of the main focus of cleaning your body is your digestion tract, and as I told you before, it allows it to pulsate or to contract and to move, but it also heals It also tones your digestive tract all at the same time. Now, with the stew, also helps that process more to remove the waste. And this is one of the reasons it's staple, because it's though it's going to be a thing that we eat, it's also a cleanser too by the nature of the things that we're putting in there. So that is pretty cool here to have food that we're eating and also help us cleanse. Okay. Next up, we're going to be using asparagus. I know that on this live feed you're far away, but that's the best I can do with the camera now, just so you can see what I'm doing. So I'm gonna cut this here like we cut green beans, and I have before we got started here, before people come in. So I'm gonna cut them just like we cut green beans. Just gonna represent our green beans in the stew. Just in a form that you would cut your green beans. There's no right or wrong way is. I just grab a bunch to cut them. When I get down to the bottom, go a little bit because they can be a little stalky. That's where they kind of harden it. They usually set them in water. So you just like so, just like you would a green bean, however size you want it. And then throw all that good stuff into the pot here. So now I'm getting full here. We're going to bring our pot over here. And we're going to begin.
Pastor, I don't mean to interrupt, but I can't see. Can Pastor Lucy move over to the right, please? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we hear you.
Pastor, can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you. We moving. She moving.
Can Pastor Lucy move to the right?
Yes.
All right, thank you.
Yeah. We're good.
No, she said, I'm in the way.
No, the camera moves slow. Okay. So we're putting all this good wonderfulness into a pot here. Okay, so I can finish. Just help me want to get to that pot there. How full it is getting. This is all the different vegetables they be chomping on. And now we're finna get into our greens and our kale and all this wonderful stuff. Now again, this kale comes from Willie's garden. I'm proud of my kale. I absolutely positively do. One thing about it when you're doing your garden, and they was already pre-washed before I got here, so I want everybody to know that. I know how people can be with food and things. One thing about your garden is that for me, the kale always tastes better at the garden. Once you make it here, for whatever reason, it grows easy, and it continues to grow as you just water it all year long. And it was a beautiful basket I had here. So we're gonna chop up a little greens to put in here. Get that green enzyme in here. We almost going to the end. We almost getting ready for our presentation tonight. I'm about eating good. We're going to listen at the word of God. I like to talk here. Small pieces so they can really get a good cooking. My brother James was here. He would tell me, quit cutting them so small. Y'all always yelling at me for some reason, but that's what I love about it. All right, next up, we're going to do our bell pepper, green pepper right here. We're just going to slice this up. Now, I try to get it without putting all the seeds in it. So I yap it into bits, and then I work it off from there. We're going to put a whole green pepper in there. What I'm going to do, I'm going to connect, then I'm going to cut them into squares. And we're going to put all this wonderful goodness into a pot, and we're going to let it go. For me, I like to eat it for breakfast. We're going to show it to you after the presentation here. Okay? I also try to put avocados have good fat in here. Our body needs good fat, and grapeseed oil, avocado itself, they are all good fat that the blood absolutely positively need and love. So, first one is your thing, because we don't use meat to get that good fat. We're going to use tonight grapeseed oil to make this thing even more healthier. Now, of course, when we are doing alkaline, beans is something that we stay away from, but the garbanzo beans is a bean that is alkaline here. Okay? All right, well, we got onions. Mushrooms and put them in there. Mushrooms represent the meat that we're going to be eating. Since we have put the meat out our diet here. So I'm just going to cut them up here. Now my kids, you know, when I like to cut my vegetables up because first of all, they try to brown to eat any. When I converted to alkaline and eating certain ways, you know, they were not used to that. So I had to learn to cut stuff up and chop stuff up in smaller pieces so that I can get them to tolerate it. So we're just gonna throw some mushrooms in this pot here. Well, it's gonna be a lot of fiber and all the other wonderful stuff in there. Too much room to put them in here. Next, we're gonna be cutting up some shallots. And then we'll be done with this particular portion of it here. One of the wonderful things about mushroom, great source of magnesium. Why magnesium? Magnesium is a drawing herb. The magnesium presses in the cell, they draw other things into it. Iron draws it in, pulls it in. Magnesium have a drawing mechanism to get things in and out of your cell. Always time you get an opportunity to put in any food, any mixture, I love putting mushrooms in there. Love it, absolutely fucking love it. After our presentation, we're going to be working on a stir fry, also with quinoa. And we're going to be using mushrooms, and we're going to be using it in the stew. Why? Because it's a great combination. You get a great source of protein with that. It makes it all work. All right, next we're cutting up our shallots here. I like cutting it and skinning it off. Now, I didn't want to go and pre-chop everything because sometimes things take what they are. And since we're having a class here, I thought it would be just pretty cool so you guys can see the whole process of what it goes through. It's not really that much time consuming. Just requires you want to have the courage and the opportunity to do it. Feel better. You need to start cooking your own food. You can control what's going in this food and what's not good. So I cut up. I myself, I kind of love, doesn't bother me. I want to do it. One of those things helps me relax. And I love knowing what I'm putting in my body. One thing is when you go into a restaurant, somebody else is cooking your food. You got to know what other ingredients that you put in there. I'm going to be using a few seasons that I use just about in every dish because they're real good seasons. They help your body break down mucus, expel mucus, and also just give your body great magnesium and vitamins and stuff that you need. So we kind of use the same season. And that's with sea salt. And right now, today, we're going to use pink Himalaya sea salt. Why? Because it's a natural salt. We're not going to use the everyday garden variety white salt because we understand that that is not healthy at all. So I'm going to bring in my season here. First thing you have onion powder. And I love this here mushroom mix. They call it imani. We're going to use a little basil, a little oregano, and here it is, crystallized pink sea salt. 40 some minerals. So let's get at it here.
We're going to be adding the onions and some crack. That's it. Let them know they use onions. I forgot them.
ask me how much I use. I'm a chef. I don't measure. Of course, you want to start with a couple tablespoons and work it to your taste bud is to your desire. I just about gauge it, But we're just talking about start out with a couple teaspoons of everything, and then you work it from there. Yeah, we're gonna put our onion salt in here. I like that great onion flavor in there, so I kind of like coast it on top like so. And now we're going to use our imani here. Once again, you want to start with a couple teaspoons and then measure everything out to your taste. Now, a lot of people like different flavors here. Same thing with the mushroom season here. And we'll leave it top it off with a little more salt because that's a big pot. We're going to add some mushrooms later. Onions later. And we'll catch you back when they get done. We're going to fill the pot with water, put it on the stove, put it in a boil, and then we're going to go into our presentation for the night. I want to thank you guys so much for joining us, so much for being here. So let's get it on the stove. Let's get it cooking. Also, we're going to add some the bonzo beans to it, and then let it cook here. So I see you guys on the presentation part of it. And then we'll come back and have a nice taste test of everything that we get ready to make here tonight. Okay? Cover.
I'll chop the onions while you're in the presentation.
That season's good.
You add the onion salt or onion powder?
Powder.
No, you have to say powder.
If I didn't, I'm going to make that correction.
Onion salt has iodized salt.
I meant onion powder. But I said that.
Yeah, make sure you're correct. Is it in the
That's crud. That's crud.
Tony brought some jars, but he brought what I had the ones. I've got the big ones here. I gave Pastor Willie some last time.
Where's the lighter thing then, you know?
Over here
I didn't see it.
in the corner. No, and the next one, they move them around.
I didn't see it.
We cooking next week too?
Something, yeah.
I'll bring my stand.
You what?
Stand
Obviously.
like that. For the phone.
All right, started here.